Rob Thompson, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM on the go at ESPNSA.com. How y'all doing on a good old Tuesday afternoon? It is a winter down here in South Texas. Man, it's a chilly day. He is Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. James Pledger in the glass box of fun. We got 2 hours of thrilling radio headed your direction, and then off to the Champions Classic tonight. There are 4 fine basketball games tonight, and two tonight and 2 tomorrow. The Jimmy V Classic goes off tomorrow as the Jimmy V Foundation, or the V Foundation as it is now, endeavors once again to continue to raising money in the fight of cancer and all that Jimmy V has done and the V Foundation has done over the years. So next couple of days we're out a little early, but boy, we're bringing you some of the finest college basketball we've seen since they turned the lights out back in early March. In the meantime, we've got a lot to talk about. We hear from Jerry Jason.
Watching the Longhorns earlier today with Bill Walton doing the commentating was very interesting for a Tuesday afternoon.
You know, a good rule of thumb for anybody who's manages, and that's really all you can do is manage a Bill Walton. You're certainly not, he's going to do what he wants to do. You probably don't want him broadcasting from his home. The first and foremost thing is what I would want to do is I'm glad to have you on the air, but I don't want you anywhere near any of those substances that have allowed you to be the Bill Walton that we love and adore. I want you to have been off or at least away from them for an hour or two, and not have access during game. Today, Jason, did he just disappear for about 10 minutes? Just leave the broadcast.
I mean, they just go hit the bong for a couple minutes, take a break. It's weird because Michael Irvin on Sunday on the NFL Network disappeared from the set. And nobody would say where he went other than I don't think Rich realized that Michael had left. So he tosses it to Michael, and there's an empty chair. And Michael tweeted later, look, man, it's a 4-hour show, man. Mother Nature called, and I had to answer. So I don't know where Bill Walton disappeared to today, but I'm guessing not the same
exactly
reason Michael Irvin.
Walton.
Yeah.
This is what happened to Bill Walton. He's sitting, at his home with the monitors in front of him and doing all that stuff. They're going to break. He decides this is an opportunity to go to the bathroom. He went to the bathroom, walked out of the bathroom, completely forgot he was doing a game, went and sat down in his living room, started watching the game, and went, oh, wow, that's – and jumped up and ran back in to do the show. You know why I know that? Because that's something I would do. You're at home. He hadn't done games he's just starting. 3 days ago, he was still on summer vacation. So today he woke up, oh, no, I'm working, and ran back in his tie-dye T-shirt and finished off the game, which, by the way, Texas knocks off Indiana, which, in this day and age isn't a whole lot to brag about, but that's not a bad basketball team. Shaka has parceled together a team without one-and-dones and has the potential of actually having some maturity on the court on the regular basis, and this might be a good basketball team. And by the way, you brought it up yesterday. Shaka's grown his hair out.
Yes, he has.
Now, I'm going to date myself, but with the mask on and the hair, he looks just like Doug Christie. Doug Christie was an NBA guard back in the 90s.
Yeah.
It is Doug Christie, man. Or if it's not that, with Shaka with the hair, he looks like the co-star in a movie that's like the best friend, but he's really smart and he's always studying. That's what he looks like to me.
I mean, it's still I look at him and go, that doesn't look like Shaka.
No, he looks 20 years younger.
It does.
Or not younger, different.
Different. Not younger, but it's like, where's Shaka? Because, look, you can take a guy, shave his head, and his facial features look the same. Shaka does not look the same. It's like, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have had work done, but that guy can go anywhere he wants right now, and nobody's going to recognize him. Nobody.
That might be the smartest move that Shaka Smart has ever done. Be incognito this year, because if things go south, they might not know who you are. I thought I called Shaka in to meet me. Who's this guy? We got a lot to talk about with the Cowboys. Jerry speaks today. And, I think today, when you guys hear Jerry in his totality for his weekly with Sean and RJ up on 105.3 The Fan that he does every week, Jerry is being quintessential Jerry today. This you are going to hear Jerry in his what's the term, bailiwick, where he is in the place where he needs to be right now.
Yeah,
you don't agree with that?
Well, I mean, he was good today, and I think you're 3-7. This season is what it is. And right now, while we asked Mike McCarthy the other day about at what point do you just try to protect the draft pick, and the coach obviously doesn't want to talk about that kind of stuff. But Jerry, he's all over the board today. I mean, comparing his drafted quarterback to what happened to Denver, which doesn't say much for Ben DiNucci at all. And everything that's going on, taking risks, Herschel Walker. I mean, he ran the gamut today. He doodled some, and he had a pretty good game plan for that interview going in.
Well, I tell you, we get some great insight to the mindset of Jerry Jones today, and we'll start with that at about 5:15, and we'll look around the NFC after last night. Seattle did what was expected, but it was a lot more difficult than it quite frankly should have been. Watching the Philadelphia Eagles just implode in front of everyone it's difficult to watch. It's like an animal that's really wounded, and you want to go, well, I probably could save him, but it'll take a lot more money and a lot more time than I'm really to invest. So maybe we should just put him out of his misery. You're looking at what's going on with Carson Wentz. I don't know whether you put him down or put him in the hospital, but something's going to have to happen.
It's typical Philadelphia. That game is they're getting blown out, yet they're not. And he makes just enough plays to keep things interesting, just enough plays to go, well, maybe it's more on the offensive line because that guy gets sacked so much. And then he throws a stupid interception like at the end of the game, and you go, well, yeah, that's Carson Wentz. I mean, he's not good. And I don't know if he'd be better in another system, just a complete change of scenery. But all the injuries around him make things far worse than what they are. And I think, all the comparisons between Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott for the last couple of years are all gone because without Dak, we're seeing just how bad the Dallas Cowboys really are. Dak Prescott wants to get paid, and when you get that kind of money like Aaron Rodgers, you cover up a lot of other stuff that's missing from a team. Carson Wentz doesn't. Carson Wentz just exposes the rest of the bad. When they were really good, it was because they were really good around Carson Wentz. But when, things around him aren't really good, Carson Wentz isn't very good.
Well, whatever the case is, whether he's long-term, short-term, overpaid, underpaid, something has to change. Either he's going to have to sit and watch or you're going to change this offense because it's not getting any better, and this poor guy is just getting pummeled. And on the other side of that, you look at what Seattle did. That was fair to Midland. That was acceptable football last night. They did what was required, but more than ever, you just feel like that team's got too many holes, and there's no way Jamal Adams can single-handedly hold this defense together for the rest of the season. I mean, that was otherworldly last night, but to come into every game and think, well, Jamal, you're going to have to do that again until the end of December, that's just not going to happen.
I mean, it's the great debate on how much are you willing to spend on a safety? Now, if you get a safety who can get sacks the way he does, who can make plays in the secondary the way he does, I understand why the Cowboys didn't want to go pay for that. I don't know how much of a difference Jamal would have made on this year's Dallas Cowboys team for that matter, but he certainly is making a difference in Seattle. He's not quite alone like he would be if he was in the Dallas secondary, but he ain't far off because that Seattle defense isn't good at all. And that's, we talk about who's the best team in the NFC. Offensively, you would say Seattle. But as a team, I don't know that you can say the Seahawks and look at who could be playing in Tampa Bay, who could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
That and much more. And you know what else we got going on? It's December 1st. Do you realize that? You know what's going on as we speak? The Spurs are beginning training camp. Greg Popovich is actually holding a live presser right now.
He waited till we went on the air.
When we went to work. Yeah, that was nice of him. But as sound becomes available, you will hear it as quickly as possible right here on ESPN San Antonio. Training camp has begun. Tomorrow, players will start showing up for practice. They're still doing the social separation and distancing thing, so only a couple at a time. But the fact is, the 2020-2021 season for the San Antonio Spurs is in effect, and we'll get a word from the coach coming up later on. But coming back, we hear from Jerry. Jerry speaks and is all the Jerry we want in a time like this. Hold on tight. You're on the Blitz. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. We're your home for the holidays. And as you get ready for the holidays, it's that ladder climbing season. Up and down, putting up things, going above your head, hanging all those Christmas decorations. And if you're dealing with something painful, like a bad back or a bad shoulder, head over to Arasti now before you even begin getting all those decorations up. Or if you already have and you're feeling it, Arasti is available to you. See, Arasti providers, they're all around San Antonio. Quite frankly, too many of them to mention. And these providers, well, they provide a passionate service. These guys are motivated to get you well. If you're dealing with a soft tissue injury like a sprain or a strain, these guys are absolute experts at that. And if it's one of those lingering things that just won't pass, go see an Arasti provider knowing full well when you walk in the door, fully certified through Arasti. These medical professionals, these physicians are experts in taking care of those soft core injuries in a remarkably short amount of time. Normally under 4 visits, 3.2 to be exact, after a million different patient visits around the country, Arasti has found that they can get you back in the game remarkably quick. And when you go to an Arasti provider, you can go in with the comfort of knowing they're going to accept most insurances, and as you make that appointment, you don't have to call to get a referral. Just call your provider. Where do you get those provider numbers? Well, it's easy. Here's the big one, 1-800-404-6050. Again, 1-800-404-6050. Make that call. They'll find a provider closest to you, and you can get and take care of as quick as possible. Or you can head to their website, arasti.com, and while you're there, take a look at all those tips and tricks, those great videos that will keep you in shape. And you wonder why a medical professional will offer their services online free of charge like that. Well, I'll tell you what, part of going to an Arasti provider is being educated into why and how you are injured and how you can, again, keep yourself healthy. They offer a variety of ways to be taken care of. Telemedicine is absolutely part of that. And more importantly, when you go to an Arasti provider, they're following every protocol possible to ensure that you can stay safe. Make that call. Head over to Arasti. Do not let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call an Arasti provider today, and boy, I am sure you will thank me tomorrow.
Follow your favorite San Antonio area high school on 210varsity.com. Instant scores anytime on any device. Upload photos and videos from the action on your school's page. Click on 210varsity.com. Powered by Hill Electric, MomNeedsABreakCleaning.com, and ESPN San Antonio.
It's time to celebrate, and Twin Peaks is open and ready for you. Sports are back, and they are available on those many, many TVs all around Twin Peaks. There are 3 locations here in San Antonio just waiting on you. 151 and 410 Days of All and I-10, that's my home court. And then over on Loopland. And when you at Park North, when you head over to Twin Peaks, you know those TVs are going to be tuned to everything you want to watch. UFC 256, that's coming up in just a little bit under a week. That's a Saturday evening. What a great place to head over there with watch Triple X. It goes head-to-head in the Octagon. You don't want to miss this fight. The action kicks off at 9 o'clock right here in San Antonio. The NCAA and NFL games, including all the bowl games, of course, they're going to be at Twin Peaks. The 29-degree draft beer is going to be flowing. The kitchen is going to be bursting from scratch-made fan favorites and game blasting from every angle. This is how you do football season. That is why you go to Twin Peaks. And if you're not eager to head over to Twin Peaks, but you want all that delicious scratch-made food, well, head over and pick it up. They've also got alcohol to go. Drink like a champ. Take your alcohol to go, featuring liquor, cocktails, beer, and all the wine available through online ordering and pickup. It's so easy to do. Go to TwinPeaksRestaurant.com to make your order today. You head into Twin Peaks. I want to head over there and sit with like-minded folks, and you know everything's a matter of degrees. 29 degrees cold beer, 360 degrees of fine viewing. Every table's a man cave. The eats, the drinks are spectacular, but why do you go? Well, it's those scenic views.
The San Antonio Express News gives you access to the city, access to be in the know, access to be amazed, access to be better citizens, access creativity. The San Antonio Express News. Express your relief. Express your voice. San Antonio, be the first to know with the San Antonio Express News. Subscribe today at expressnews.com/subscribe. Get access with the San Antonio Express News by subscribing today at expressnews.com/subscribe.
America's Diamond has created a half-hour television program called Buying Diamonds Intelligently. You can see where diamonds are mined, how they're cut and polished, how they're graded, certified, and laser inscribed, and how our beautiful diamond jewelry is made. You can see the show tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now on the internet at americasdiamond.com. America's Diamond is the largest diamond engagement ring store in America. We design and create our extraordinary jewelry right here in San Antonio. Quality for quality, we guarantee that the everyday America's Diamond price is lower than any jewelry store's very best sale price, or we'll refund the difference plus 25%. America's Diamond was voted San Antonio's best jewelry store by San Antonio Magazine, The Current Magazine, and for more than 25 years in a row, winner of the Express News Reader's Choice Award. America's Diamond is the official jeweler of the San Antonio Spurs and of the University of Texas at San Antonio Athletics. See America's Diamond first, 561-1000.
Yeah, this season I actually had little business cards made. Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM. You can keep that. Sure, the players are famous, but come game day, I decide their fate. What's that? Oh, you make $20 million? Well, I don't like your attitude. You benched! No, I'd never bench an all-star, but I could. That's also why I like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. With options based on my budget, they never throw me a curveball. That's a little baseball reference for you.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
good night,
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell. And engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. Go to ESPNSA.com. There you can watch our live broadcast. Facebook as well, ESPN San Antonio. There you can comment. If you'd like to tweet at us, you can lob one at Jason Minix, and that is easily at Jason Minix, at Rob Thompson, ESPN, at I Am Pleasure. We're your home for the holidays. You know how we can say that? Because we want to make your home almost free for a year. Home for the holidays is something we do every year. We're giving you a chance to have your mortgage or your rent paid for all of 2021. Easy to win or get yourself registered. Go to ESPNSA.com for all the deets.
Yeah, I mean, we'll pay for your house and give you some candy canes as well. I mean, we'll give you, we'll run the gamut for you.
All right, let's talk about this for a second. I put it to you that there isn't a candy cane in anybody's house's home right now that is under 5 years old. That no one buys candy canes after about their 4th year that they're married, or their kids get a little bit older than 5 or 6.
So you don't like candy canes?
Oh, it's not that. It's just I won't eat. I like peppermints. I like the little, the rolled up ones. I like it's freshing. It's minty. It's peppermint.
Yes.
But the engineering, the design of candy canes makes them very difficult to eat.
It is difficult to eat. I know where you're going. But I mean, there's lots of foods that are shaped similarly that you can devour.
No, there's only one food that's shaped like that. There's nothing else out there that I would even begin to eat that was overly long and curved at one end for no apparent reason other than to be like a cane.
Banana? Yeah, banana.
That's not a banana.
Well,
That's
I'm just saying.
Edible.
I just think that your house, there are candy canes that go on the tree. You don't eat those.
Like the one you are holding. If you're watching our live broadcast at ESPNSA.com or Facebook, I put it to you that candy cane is probably about the same age as your daughter.
We get several because there's a dish that has candy cane decorations. Don't eat those.
Decorations.
Those are decorations.
Those weren't decorations at start. 10 years ago, that was candy. Now it's decoration.
But there will be candy canes brought into the house that are for your enjoyment, and I will eat them.
Will your lovely wife be purchasing them, or will they be gifted?
Yes.
See, they're gifted. So you don't know the origin. It's gifted. It could be somebody else's 10-year-old decoration that they decided they would move along.
So
because
if
they know no one's going to eat them.
if I sent you a box of candy, I think is Rob wrong on this candy cane thing? Do you eat the candy canes in your house, or if you're somewhere and you see a candy cane, will you grab it and eat one? That is the question, because you can now trick people. You can have some pranks, although maybe some people will enjoy this, but apparently there's flavored candy canes available now that taste like ketchup, pizza, or macaroni and cheese, amongst other things that you could get. So imagine you see a candy cane, you go to grab it, and the damn thing tastes like mac and cheese.
Yet another reason not to just grab a random candy cane. They're giving you yet another reason to, you know what? These people keep eating this old candy. We're seeing too many emergency room visits. Let's make them taste like bologna. And if they tasted like bologna, no one would eat them. We would make everybody safe. We keep the decorations. And only people that really will eat them are zombies or people starving to death.
But aren't you the same guy who discovered there's foul-tasting jelly beans by accident one time?
Well, jelly beans are an entirely different substance.
Well, I mean, but you'll reach and grab those.
We don't have a singular holiday set aside for jelly beans. That at the end of that holiday, let's pack up the beans and put them back up. Next year, we'll bring them back out. I mean, candy canes, I'm telling you, only thing that they're good for is if you wanted to be part of some sort of murder and they didn't want to be able to find the implement of death. You know how you suck on the candy cane, they get real sharp point? You know,
for a guy that doesn't eat them, you know the dynamics of them too well.
Oh, there's a lot of reasons I don't allow candy canes in my houses. I don't trust my sons. But it could be an implement of death. It would be like one of those box whodunit games, and the killer, would have been one of the sons who had access to a giant candy cane that he had licked into a point.
Imagine that Criminal Minds episode of, we think we know what the murder weapon is, although we have to wait a couple of days to get the DNA.
We're going to have to, you know what? It's peppermint. My wife watches enough whodunits. I know that's happened somewhere. Someone was actually killed with a overly thick candy cane that had been licked into a point. And then the
let's go to the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. JJ, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Okay, so I kind of agree with Rob. No one really eats candy canes, but I think people do buy them for the sole purpose of using them with hot chocolate. It's engineered so that it can hang over the cup, and it tastes great.
You know what? And the heat would kill any of the aged bacteria that had built up over the years and years, as you had saved it on, you hung it on, I don't know, a dozen Christmas trees over the years and put it back into a box and went into your attic. You probably want to put it in something boiling before you have it.
God, man, I got to rethink. I like them. I've got no problem.
I don't hold anything against them, but you can't trade. There's not a sell-by date on a candy cane. You know why? Because they don't want them on there. If they had them on there. Well, maybe they should. You just start throwing them away. Like, you'd pull one out, and they're like, well, that went bad the last century. This should have been eaten in 1998.
You bring that up.
I have a candy cane in this house that was probably purchased prior to 98. But I can't prove it.
What keeps a candy cane from fading? A lot of things turn yellow over time. Why does a candy cane not? How come we can't age these things?
The cellophane wrapper it's in.
It's elfin magic. Where do you think candy canes come from?
The peppermint store? So how about them Cowboys?
I've been inside these four walls a long time. I'm staring at boxes of decorations that are going to have to go up here real soon.
You're not up
just
yet?
Just fighting the fact that... Dude, the motivating force in our house for Christmas decorations is a little under the weather right now. So
that's why you have to help her out. You got to get that done.
Well, I don't even know how to begin, man. How do you start decorating the house? I mean, is there something that you put out to begin the process? Because there's a bunch of stuff here. You pick a room, you just open a box and willy-nilly throw things up. I don't know. So I need some guidance.
Well, I think that's it. Willy-nilly. I mean, look, you put it all out. And wherever you think it goes, it could be in the bathroom, it could be here. I mean, there is stuff everywhere because the problem with all this Christmas stuff is every year we seem to get new, but nothing ever goes away except for one of my Dallas Cowboy ornaments. Apparently, the keeper of the ornaments has no idea what happened to some of my sports-related ornaments.
Are you missing a year, a specific?
I am a 2007 ornament with Tony Romo, T.O., and Marion Barber. I've had that ornament for a long
dreads.
He's wearing a very bad helmet, but R.J. Ochoa tweeted out a photo of his, and I'm like, I got the same one. And,
I'm pretty sure I do too.
As the tree was getting put up, I said, well, where's that? I'm going to take a picture of it and tweet it to RJ. And I don't know what happened to it. Say, where's the Troy Aikman one? I don't know what happened to that. And then it was, aren't you in charge of your own ornaments? Apparently not.
They're all with the candy canes, man. Just look where you keep the candy canes. That's where you keep the good stuff, right? That's where you keep the stuff that you're going to hold on for generations, that you're going to pass down to the next Minix clan, the candy canes and the Troy Aikman riding a rocket in 2001.
There you go.
Honest to God, I think I have one of those. I will have to dig through it. Well, we wasted that segment. That's time we're never going to
talk about the Cowboys.
No, we should.
Right. It's kind of like candy canes, man. It lives forever.
It's absolutely. It is Tuesday, and we did get a chance to hear from Jerry Jones. And Jerry was everything you want Jerry to be in times like this. You got to keep in mind. Well, let's do it when we come back. We're up against the break. Let's not throw off anything else. James got to go get a candy cane, get some candy corn and a candy cane break. When we come back, we promise we're going to hear from Jerry Jones. You're on the Blitz here at 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. We're your home for the holidays.
Do you have a retirement plan? No matter your age or how close you are to retirement, you need a plan to make sure you don't run out of money. Jason Minix here for Pax Financial Group. At Pax Financial Group, they know you want to be financially prepared. In order to do that, you need trusted guidance. At Pax, they have the experience and tools to crunch your retirement numbers and get the answers you need. If you have a plan, let Pax double-check all your numbers. At Pax, they believe everybody deserves to be hopeful about their future. They understand why it is important for families to protect their hard-earned money, and a key reason they're a trusted financial advisor for so many families over the past decade. Connect with Pax. Call 210-881-5700, 881-5700, or go online, paxfinancialgroup.com, P-A-X, financialgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered by Pax Financial Group, LLC.
We're number one on Kate Upton's presets. Okay, we probably are. But how awesome would that be?
Yes, I was.
Hi, Kate. San Antonio sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
If you were hurt in an accident, Thomas J. Henry can help. Let us help you get a rental car, make your medical appointments, and even advance money on qualifying cases. If you've been hurt, start your claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio, San Antonio, Texas.
Mary's Bistro delivery business is bustling and ready to burst.
Orders 34, 35, and 36 are up. Who's handling these? Hello, Mary's Bistro, now delivering.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who refuse to let happy hour end without squeezing in one more round. The type of guys who would rather sweat from unspeakable places than stop eating the spiciest wings on the menu. And the men who still chuckle when they order their wings bone in. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Looking for a late night bite? Service industry employees receive 50% off handhelds and appetizers every day, 10 to close. Some exclusions apply.
An unprecedented year like 2020 calls for an unprecedented holiday offer from Diamonds Direct. So, for the first time ever during December, we're allowing 4 years zero interest financing on anything and everything. It's our way of helping you make her holiday one to remember. Just pick any beautiful piece of jewelry, take the price, divide by 48, and that's your payment. A $4,000 pair of diamond stud earrings is just $84 a month. And we have the gifts women love. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, all new fashion jewelry from top designers. And of course, the largest selection of engagement rings and certified diamonds in the country. After all she's been through in 2020, now's the perfect time to let her know how much you love her. Reward her with a gift that is romantic, timeless, and symbolic. And with 48 months zero interest financing, you can afford to splurge. Diamonds Direct, helping you make that magical moment this holiday season. Shop online at diamondsdirect.com or in person in our showroom. Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera. Tune in to the Blitz today for the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Catch up on the latest injuries and how it'll affect your team. The Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online at tsaog.com.
The holidays may be the season of light, but they're also the season of long, dark nights, especially on the road. But the experts at Advance will help you get the furthest and widest down-road visibility with Sylvania Silver Star Ultra headlights. Save $15 by mail on twin packs or 2 single packs. Plus, score 100 Speed Perks bonus points with purchase. Light up the night on your way to every holiday get-together. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Dell Technologies just announced their Cyber Monday sale. They're releasing new doorbusters every weekday, plus up to 50% off cutting-edge tech for your business. There's no better time to upgrade your small business with the latest laptops and desktops with Intel Core processors. Plus, there's free shipping on everything. Yes, everything. Give Dell Technology Advisors a call. They'll identify the right tech solutions for your business. Go to Dell.com/SB Cyber Monday or call 877-ASK-DELL.
It is the Blitz. Here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM on the go at ESPNSA.com. The Blitz is always brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. Jason Thompson, his website, alawyerforus.com. His number, 210-900-0400. Call Jason as soon as you've been in a car accident, as soon as it's safely possible. Let him get to work for you so you can take care of your family. He'll take care of protecting you, your assets, and all involved. When we left, we were talking peppermint, but the fact is Jerry spoke today. And you got to take into consideration, Jason, that this is a unique time, certainly, with the COVID pandemic. Jerry's been an owner for a long time. He's seen a lot of things come and go. And you wonder, as we look at Coach Mike McCarthy and the tremendous obstacles that he's seen McCarthy have to deal with this season, what his thoughts are about McCarthy and whether Jerry feels like he might have been here or some instance much like this before.
Well, and that's it. I mean, obviously McCarthy is dealing with something that no other Cowboy coach in the history of the organization has had to deal with, and that is deal with COVID and have to do it in your first year. But you think about, then you add in all the injuries and how hand-tied or handicapped Mike McCarthy has been at the beginning of his career with the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry kind of looks at it and says, it's very similar to what one Jimmy Johnson had to deal with.
Jimmy had a lot of handicaps when we first came in here. By the way, we won one football game, too. Yeah. And he was accused by one other coach, for sure, of running and making it look like it was a high school program. But, I can remember those kinds of challenges. Coach Landry was challenged the year before when he only won 3 games. And so, I can recollect real challenges that we've experienced. And by the way, to those guys' credit, they took that adversity. They made adjustments. They didn't lose the team, the spirit, lose the heart of the team. They were able to take some parts of those times, in Jimmy's case, and basically take those times. Jimmy was an outstanding coach. And we had I got here trading. That's how I bought the team, was to trade into it and get with it. And so we had some interesting times. Those bad years caused us to sit there, caused us to scratch our head and sit down and say, what have we got here that we could move the needle on? And looked over there, and there stood Herschel Walker. And so that bad year had a big impetus in us turning around and being open-minded to things like that. Let's use this to look how to not only be interesting, entertaining, but also be productive.
All right. What does that mean? You want to dissect that? I mean, do we read in that they're looking at some very key players and are going to be willing to move them?
Maybe. I don't think there's anybody on the roster that isn't available if the price is right. Jerry just said he was a trader. He's not afraid of making a deal. He did it to start things. But what I took away from that is, while Jerry has a lot of problems and issues for being, such an active and involved owner, there is something about what Jerry is that this Cowboys franchise needs more than anything right now. And it's a little bit of optimism. Think about the week that the Cowboys had. Just think about what they've gone through just over the last 10 days. They're getting ready to bury one of their own. Their football team is a shambles. The two tackles go down in the first series. And what do we hear from Jerry today? Dude, we've been here before. I know how to get out of it. Everybody just needs to buck up just a little bit. This isn't as bad as you think it is, because I've been here with just one loss and a coach that everybody was telling was a high school coach. I'm hearing the same thing about McCarthy going for it on fourth down. I'm hearing the same damn things. I think Jerry, more than anything right now, is riding the Dallas Cowboys ship, because I don't think the Cowboys have been this low since then.
I don't know if I agree with that, because there's been a lot of low years. There's been the 3-13 Tony Romo years when he's been injured, and everything was put on one guy, and it seems pretty similar again. Once Dak goes down, everything goes south. No help on the defense. When the Cowboys have had good defenses, they haven't had good offenses. I mean, you look at, the Dave Campo 5-11 seasons, I think are worse than what we're dealing with now as fans, because at least as a fan, you can be smart enough to go, well, with all these injuries, it's hard to win. Those teams they thought were going to be good, and they didn't have the injury card that they could play.
I look at it completely different. This COVID time, you got a brand new coach. You got zero preseason. You lost both of your left tackles before the season even began. In the offseason, you lost your all-pro super lineman. You've got every possible skill player out there, but you can't protect them, and you're overpaid. He's in a leveraged environment that is sinking fast, and he might be talking about making a move with Zeke, but I think it's more appropriate to say, hey, man, things can turn on a dime. Everybody just needs to buck up a little bit. This isn't as bad as it seems. I've seen bad, and this is awful, but we're sharing this. I think Jerry has become the leader of this team in a lot of ways as they, again, prepare to bury one of their staff. You want to talk about a team that has been decimated. They lost their captain weeks ago, months ago, Dak out of the building. The losses continue. Guys come and go. Health comes and goes. The coach is under fire. Every coach is under fire. He's had to cut a couple of guys that he paid good money to kind of, to get them through the season. I think as far as the mental aspect of the Cowboys, it has never been worse. And as it gets bad, the leader, the reason you look to guys like Jerry, is he's on the other side of that page. He's optimistic, and he has to show that for the rest of the team, because it doesn't appear it's going to get any better.
And again, I think Jerry, because he's been through it, can be optimistic. He understands what the outlook is, what the numbers look like, whatever the planning things. He can move on from this year and look to next year. Fans and coaches go week to week. He can have a big picture view. I do find it interesting, though, that last week he was Dr. Jerry Jones, the psychologist, pumping up Zeke and Jalen Smith, the two guys that have been getting beat up in the media more than any other players this year, talking about how they're the best players on the team, Zeke and Jalen, and how much he is thrilled with the contracts that those guys have signed, when everybody is beating them up. Oh, Jalen hasn't been the same since he got paid. Zeke is overpaid. They should play Tony Pollard and bench that guy. And here's Jerry on the radio saying, Zeke is our best player, bar none, because he knows he needs to do that for Zeke. He needs to do that for Jalen. He doesn't need to prop up Zach Martin. It's Michael Irvin told us one time, as a team leader, you always found what motivated each individual person, because everybody's motivated differently. And you find out what motivates them. You find out what that hook is, so you're able to get there and motivate them. I think that's what Jerry was doing with Jalen and with Zeke the other day. Today, and everything you said, I sort of agree with the psychology. But when he starts mentioning trades and Herschel Walker, does make me wonder, what does he know? What is he working on that he can't tell us yet? And is he preparing us for a blockbuster deal? Now, I can't figure out anybody that would take on Zeke's contract right now.
Man.
But
Herschel Walker will never happen again, man. It won't. even if it would help the other team, if they were receiving the value that they felt like. I don't think any GM will ever do that again because the stink of that trade remains. And who's going to make a deal for Zeke? Herschel was getting paid, but not like Zeke is as far as percentages of salary cap. It is a completely different game.
But when you look at GMs making dumb decisions, I don't discount the possibility of anything. Just look at the D-Hop trade to the Arizona Cardinals. I don't discount the possibility that you might be able to work something, and maybe that's what he's looking to do. Somebody somewhere, Jerry getting in the room trying to sell something, you never know. But for him to start talking about trades, and, he was a trader to begin with, and if he needs to trade to get out of the situation he's in, he's willing to do it. I think he's setting us up for a very interesting offseason.
Well, first and foremost, is going to have to sign his quarterback. Jerry continues to speak. We'll hear more from him later. We have great news for fight fans. The trilogy might actually be completed. That hadn't been fought since 1997. When we last heard about it, it was known as the Sound and the Fury, and half an ear was gone by the time the fight was done. Yes! Tyson, Holyfield, 3 might be in the offing. Yeah, that's about how I feel.
Bite your ear.
What is it, 50 and 54? Is that what the ages are of this fight? And obviously it would be something like Roy Jones, but
as long as Snoop Dogg is commentating, I'm down.
We have that announced. And also Greg Popovich is speaking to the media now. The Spurs, well, training camp begins tomorrow in earnest as players are going to be reporting to the practice facilities individually at first, just because the social distancing processes that have been put in place by the NBA. But training camp has begun, and we get the State of the Spurs message from Greg Popovich. We'll have it all broken down and ready for you in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll look at the best teams in the NFC East after last night. Lots of football talk and looking toward the Spurs. And don't forget, we're out a little early today at 6 o'clock. Got some very good college basketball heading your way. The Champions Classic, the Blue Bloods are playing. We'll tell you who it is coming up next. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. We're your home for the holidays.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners, a great locally owned, family-run business by the Townsends. You know, I've had a water softener in my home for years. Wouldn't live without one. In fact, when we moved, first thing I had installed in the new house was a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners. When you get one, you're instantly going to notice the difference on your dishes coming out of the dishwasher. You'll feel the difference on your skin and hair as you get out of the shower, on your clothes coming out of the washing machine. It's not a luxury item in San Antonio. It's a necessity because we have some of the hardest water in the country. And not only do you get soft water and better tasting water, an Alamo Water Softener can save you money because it will extend the life of your plumbing and appliances. Alamo Water Softeners is the best value for the highest quality water treatment. And don't just take my word for it. Go to the Nextdoor app, top choice for water softener companies. Alamo Water Softeners. Mention my name when you call them. You'll receive free basic installation. You'll also get a free reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of select new Alamo Water Softeners. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
ESPN San Antonio is your home for the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Every Friday, Mike McCarthy on the Blitz is brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Your home for everything Cowboys is ESPN San Antonio.
For lunch, for dinner, for late at night, when you're craving wings, Wingstop now delivers. Go to wingstop.com and get that great flavor delivered right to your door. You can count on Wingstop for classic and boneless wings, sauced and tossed in 11 mouth-watering sauces and dry rubs, freshly made just for you. Those fries, fresh cut every day and then tossed in that addictive sweet and salty seasoning. Of course, they've got their house-made dips of ranch and blue cheese to top off your order. You can crush your crave for classic and boneless wings in any of their 11 mouth-watering flavors at wingstop.com or by downloading and ordering off of the Wingstop app. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
It's been a hell of a year, San Antonio. I'm Chip Ingram, and my bars, the Roo Pub and Angry Elephant, have been closed more than they've been open, and I didn't see that coming. Fortunately, things are getting better. 281 North is open, and football is finally here. Our kitchen is open every day till 2 a.m., and we open for happy hour at 11 a.m. And you know, as our customers say, our food is pretty darn good. So this is me asking you to help a local guy and his staff get back on our feet. Come see us at the Roo Pub and Angry Elephant at 281 North and Redland Road.
The soothing scent of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's only one of the most iconic smells ever. That cooling, comforting scent generations of families have come to trust to help them feel better. And now you trust to soothe your family. Pick up some Vicks Vapor Rub in the little blue jar and wrap yourself with the calm only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, always there for you.
Kentucky is the official sponsor of the college football playoff, and we're here to say it's smooth, like a mental refreshing. We'll trade a tailgates, buy some now. D-O-S-C-Q-U-I-S, because Turkey's that sells beer.
For your next tailgate here in San Antonio, grab some ice-cold Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York. Copyright 2020.
If I learned one thing from this great game of baseball, it's that she'll humble you. You think you've got it figured out, you check the standings, and you're in last place again. I'm Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM, and I can put my team in position to win every single time, but I can't play the games, people. At least Progressive's Name Your Price tool has options based on my budget. It never lets me down, unlike my pitching staff. Amateurs!
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up, there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell. And engines that continuously use Shell V Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Go there, post haste. You can watch us live, or you can go to our Facebook page. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. We are both comfortably ensconced in the O'Reilly Auto Parts mobile studios. This one's got a heater, thank goodness. We got some news kind of coming around the bend. You know, Saturday night we got a chance to reminisce a little bit. We got a chance to see Mike Tyson fight Roy Jones Jr. in what turned out to be a draw, though I think by most accounts, people thought Tyson won it. He was a little bit
Tyson
more
won.
and,
Tyson won. They're just setting up fight 2.
They're setting up the second, but, you know, as this has been going on, and Jason and I actually had a chance to interview Evander Holyfield a little over a year ago, 2 years ago now, I guess, coming up to the Atlanta Super Bowl. He's from the Georgia area, and he was doing the car wash. We had a chance to sit down with him then. He was in great shape, and, you know, lately on Instagram and his socials, there's been a lot of pictures of Evander working out back in the gym. Well, he wants a little bit of Tyson. A $25 million challenge has been thrown down. The trilogy might actually happen some 23 years after the last match. Holyfield's beaten him twice. Want to take him down for 3.
Holyfield wants him. I don't know that Mike Tyson does. Evander Holyfield has called out Iron Mike. He says that they tried to put this fight together, but Mike Tyson chose Roy Jones Jr. instead for that exhibition comeback. He said, quote, "My side tried to make the fight happen, and we got nothing but excuses. Now I can see why he wanted a tune-up fight before thinking about fighting me." So they're already doing a little bit of trash talking as well. Why not? I mean, you know, as Snoop said during the broadcast, it looked like a couple uncles fighting at the family reunion. I think these two would do well at the family reunion backyard brawl. Why not? Let's make it happen.
How old was Foreman when he fought his last fight? He was in his 40s, right? Or was he upwards? He was near 50.
It was on grill number 7.
The concern is, you know, you hit 50 and you go fight. Neither one of these guys, while they both probably have that old man strength, you know, old man strong kind of stuff, I'm sure they both still have that. I'd like to think that, you know, all of us over 50 have some vestige of it. But, you know, the older you get, you're not going to get knocked out. I don't think that either one can knock each other out as hard as they hit each other, because I don't think that button is still around. I think they just club on each other for, round after round. It could be brutal. It could be perfect. Watching Tyson the other day and explaining to my son what Mike Tyson was when he first came up back in the 80s. When, we were trying to find a UFC fighter or something akin to what Tyson was in the aura of this culture back in the 80s. He was an utter beast. I mean, a frightening beast. And how, guys of our age, of our generation, there'll never be anything like Tyson. And the opportunity to see him fight Holyfield, really the only foe that beat Tyson. Not, the first time he beat him. The second time, well, he had the better of him, got Tyson frustrated and lost half an ear, but it looked like he was going to beat him again. I mean, this is the only guy that owned what was the baddest man on the planet for 20 years.
You think about, Tyson did have the one bad loss, and then the craziness that happened with the ear. And I'll tell you though, Evander is 58 years old, and when we were sitting across from him, and we talked about this afterwards, I couldn't help but just stare at his ear the whole damn time. I mean, it's, and he knows it's there. I mean, it's, but I think Evander would win that fight. While Mike Tyson was the baddest man on the planet, I do think one of them could still get knocked out. I mean, you talk about some old man strength, but you also have, you take a punch, it could take you out. I mean, now Mike Tyson was so damn high, I don't think he felt anything in that fight the other night, and maybe that's what it would take.
Old guys don't get knocked out. They just don't. They've made it this far. That knockout, I don't know, that button is gone. You just club on their heads. Dun, dun. Think about the old dudes. You ever see old dudes get knocked out? No, they get beaten to a pulp. They get beaten senseless. TKOs happen, but very rarely do you see them go down. It's just something. These two old guys, you figure that it's kind of like we're going to hit each other, at 70% for a while, but one of them's going to have some PTSD. Some of them's going to, have a little bit of a flashback to the MGM in '97, and there'll be some haymakers thrown. You just wonder whether they'll weather the fight, and whether $25 million is enough. I have a feeling if they promoted it right, it could make a lot of money. The Sound and the Fury probably can't happen anymore. What do you do with two old dudes?
I look at
hypertension and gout.
I mean, look. I mean, you got all the different sponsors there. I mean, wasn't Evander pushing some sort of beef jerky on Radio Row? He was doing something, right? And
yeah.
I mean, you figure $25 million. I didn't pay for this first one, and I wasn't going to. I would pay for this one.
Yes.
Based on everything that I've seen, including a YouTuber that I've never known. I want him to fight Ron Artest on the undercard. Ron
Artest would kill Paul. Would take him out.
I'm just saying. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, what's the rest of the Circus Sideshow undercard going to be, and what could we get out of that?
Do we want a circus, or do you want it legit?
Both. I mean, look, I don't think anybody expected Nate to do what Nate did. Not the way he did, but I mean, that's been talked about more than the Mike Tyson fight. There's got to be more on it than just two old dudes fighting.
It's Tyson Holyfield. I think that alone, every guy has to see it. I mean, last we spoke, somebody was chewing on some skin. I mean, know what I mean? Somebody had spitting out an ear.
But you still, I mean, you go into, a Ruth's Chris or a Myron's or something, you order your steak, right? Your steak is what you're going there for, but you still get some side dishes. I mean, we know the steak is going to be Tyson Holyfield, but you still need some side dishes. I'm going to spend $100. That better get more than 8 minutes.
Well, if you're spending $100, you're spending it for. Would you really pay to see this Paul dude ever fight again? Anybody who takes that money, I guess you're trying to redeem
if Snoop
the
is commentating and putting on a concert and the rest of it, I think I would.
In the 6 o'clock hour, we got a lot to get into.
He'll be over at the house eating candy canes.
Greg Popovich. It was in the what? You're saying something to me, James?
No, I was saying 5 o'clock hour.
Oh, I'm sorry, the 5 o'clock hour. We're out at 6. We're going into the NCAA basketball. 5 o'clock, we're going to hear more from Jerry, and I think you get more perspective on how Jerry became Jerry as he looks at the situation that he's in, what happened to the Denver Broncos, and his position on that. I think you'll find very interesting. We saw Seattle beat Philadelphia. whoopee. But if you look across the NFC, doesn't it feel like the NBA East? There's a bunch of teams with one guy, but I don't see a lot of good teams. Does the NFC even have a chance in the Super Bowl? Where would you pick the very best teams? We'll look there, and it's an injury update kind of a day. Dr. David Espinosa will join us at 5:45 to look at the injuries across the length and breadth of the athletic world. You want to hang on tight. We got a lot to talk about, so stay here. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. We're your home for the holidays.
If you need your logo on gear, you know there's only one place to go, and that is Sammy's Embroidery Club over there on San Pedro. It's officially December. If you haven't figured out what you're going to get your employees for Christmas yet, you do need to get them a gift. How about a nice polo shirt or a jacket with your company logo on it, a book bag? Sammy can get that done for you. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, you need your logo on gear, Sammy's Embroidery Club is the place to go. Masks, shirts, jackets, caps. Sam has over 700 uniform lines to choose from. It was a cold day today. If your employees were complaining that they need new winter gear, Sammy's Embroidery Club, jackets, half zips, hoodies, beanies, get your company logo on it. Nobody has better prices. Sammy has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too big, certainly no order too small. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, or better yet, get into that massive showroom down on San Pedro. It's a mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. All items come with a warranty, and you know you'll work with Sammy on your project. He owns the place, and he's by his phone right now waiting to hear from you. Call him, 210-824-3900, 824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
This is the only time you've wanted to wake up with a hangover.
You serious?
The Saturday Morning Hangover with James Pledger and Jack Thompson. Getting you ready for all the weekend's games and then some. The Saturday Morning Hangover. Get ready for a hangover without the headache. Saturday mornings 9 to 11. 1250 ESPN San Antonio. 94.5 FM. And on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Maybe it's not you, but you get a phone call from a family member or friend that they've been arrested and want to get out of jail fast. Best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. The phone number is 210-225-2121 or go to the website mybestbailbonds.com. You can even start the bonding process there online. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, while it might sound good, make sure you really understand what all those conditions are before you accept it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas. Services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between. License number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121. 225-2121 or online at mybestbailbonds.com.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who chase their shot of whiskey with another shot of whiskey. The type of guys who can watch a 90-minute match but fall asleep in the first 10 of every chick flick. And the men who celebrate a Tuesday night like they have the next day off. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Do you love fall-off-the-bone flavor? Try a Twin Peaks signature smoked menu item, like the Carolina pulled pork sandwich or sweet and smoky ribs.
Stu Gatz here. Like you, I have a family and a mortgage, and I protect the ones I love with life insurance. Think you can't afford it? Chances are SelectQuote can help you get it for less than $1 a day. SelectQuote comparison shops up to 10 highly rated companies, including Prudential, Banner Life, and Mutual of Omaha, and others, to find you the company with the best rates. For example, SelectQuote could find a 35-year-old man a $500,000 policy for under $19 a month. That's less than $1 a day. SelectQuote's breakthrough technology allows them to quickly match you with the best insurance company to find you your best policy. Plus, quotes are free. Start protecting your family today. Go to getselectquote.com. That's getselectquote.com. Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Hi, this is Emmitt Smith. You're listening to 1250 ESPN San Antonio, now on 94.5 FM.
KZDC San Antonio.
Hey everyone, with today's Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales. The upcoming game at Baltimore has been moved again due to a COVID outbreak with the Ravens. Details after this.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Whether you're getting ready to purchase a home, setting up a college fund for your kids, or preparing for retirement, you're working hard to live a life you love. And you deserve peace of mind knowing your home, loved ones, and future are protected. At SWBC, we can help you assess your personal situation and create a customized solution to make sure you're prepared for whatever life throws your way. Visit SWBC.com to learn about your mortgage, insurance, and wealth management options today. That's SWBC.com.
Due to a COVID outbreak that has sidelined so much of the Ravens roster, the Cowboys game in Baltimore has once again been moved. Originally scheduled for this Thursday, then moved to Monday, the kickoff has been pushed back again. The game is now Tuesday, December 8th at 7 o'clock Central. As for the Cowboys, they have an extra day to prepare for a Ravens offense that now features Dez Bryant. The longtime fan favorite of Cowboy Nation joined the Ravens last month. Cowboy middle linebacker Jalen Smith can't wait to see his old teammate.
I need a jersey. I gotta get a jersey. I'm gonna hit a punt for real. I'm excited. You know, he's a hell of a player, but he's a better person. Big brother of mine. Look up to him. I can't wait to hit him.
Dez has 4 catches in 2 games for the Ravens. That's today's Cowboys Report. I'm Christy Scales.
Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM on the go at ESPNSA.com. You want to watch us live, you can do it on our Facebook page. You can go to ESPNSA.com wherever you are. We're glad you're here. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Got an hour of fun headed your way. At 6 o'clock, we're headed into the NCAA basketball world. Got a couple of good ones headed. The Champions Classic tonight. Michigan State and Duke will get things started. Then we'll close the evening out with Kansas and Kentucky. Blue Bloods all. It's always a lot of fun, and we'll have it for you live as we kick off the NCAA basketball season. Texas is looking quite good, and Shaka's got good hair. Surprising. After it's Tuesday afternoon, though I don't think anybody really knows what day it is after last week's holiday, but it's been a while since we've heard from Jerry Jones, and today was his weekly gathering with Sean and RJ with 105.3 The Fan. We're going to hear from Jerry in just a bit. But after last night's Monday Night Football game, where we watched Philadelphia go down yet again and continue to struggle, I don't know what's going on there. The NFC East continues to be in play. But really, after watching it last night, Jason, watching Seattle go, our question, I guess most pundits are looking at it and looking at the NFC, and it looks like with every passing week, the AFC is getting stronger, at least those at the top. And the NFC, while we have a pretty good idea who's the best, I don't even think the very best of the NFC would, be any more than about a 4 or 5 seed in the AFC.
I don't know about it. I mean, New Orleans with a healthy Drew Brees, the way the Saints are playing defense, are probably the best team in the NFC. But are you going to get a healthy Drew Brees? But the mix of Drew and Taysom Hill has certainly worked well, for Sean Payton. Green Bay, they're always regular season good, but they get into some of those tight battles in the postseason. We've seen it too many times, and we'll come back to what they did in the draft to not help Aaron Rodgers with this year's team. So I don't know that I'd put my money on Green Bay. I look at Tampa Bay, and I still think when I see all those pieces and parts, that's a team that I don't necessarily know that I want to face in the postseason. When they're on, they're tough to beat. When they're off, man, it's a bleep show. But I would still put Tampa Bay as a contender in the NFC because look at the teams ahead of them. Everybody is certainly beatable. The Rams, I don't know what to make of the Rams. Arizona isn't ready yet. Nobody from the NFC East. And then what do you have? I mean, this is, during the Spurs championship runs, the 2 or 3 teams in the East that would get to the NBA Finals that didn't maybe have a LeBron James on them. What was going to happen to them? That's kind of how the NFC feels, because all the talent is on the AFC. Everybody's going to talk about Kansas City, and obviously Pittsburgh is undefeated. Tennessee is really, really good. So is that Buffalo Bills team. There is some talent over there.
The Baltimore is key to this conversation because
I didn't even mention Baltimore.
well, you kind of did. I mean, the Baltimore they're there. They're in the top 10, but because they're contending, they have been given a little bit of leeway that I'm quite frankly just astounded that the NFL allowed, that they get to move and lots of positive tests. And you look at what happened at Denver, and because they're not contending and because they're kind of rebuilding, it feels like the NFL said, well, we got to fulfill a time slot. We got to fulfill an obligation. You guys obviously were in the wrong. You've admitted it, and I have a problem with how they handled that. They should have been following the COVID procedures. But to force a team to go into a game like that without a quarterback, I just think is just about as unforgivable as you can have for one league to do that to a team. It was awful. It was ill-contrived, and it seemed almost, as an overreaction to a terrible thing. I would have just made them forfeit instead of making these guys go out and play for an hour in a cause that was lost before they even got off the bus.
It's interesting because by making them play, it was almost as if it was punishment. But you're still going to get paid, because if there's a forfeit, now who's going to pay these guys, and do they have to pay these guys, and all that kind of stuff. But it does feel like Baltimore, with a star player like Lamar, is getting preferential treatment. Like, hey, we can't play Tuesday night because the Ravens need at least one day of practice, so we're going to move it to Wednesday. And then the domino effect of everything else that goes, because, but my goodness, the NFL is having to play the game at 4 o'clock tomorrow because there's apparently a tree lighting on TV that night on NBC, and you can't bump the tree lighting to CNBC or whatever. I guess. I mean, it's kind of weird to think the NFL that can move mountains and get whatever they want are getting pushed down to a 4 o'clock start because of a tree lighting TV conflict.
Well,
it's 2020.
Well, it's also the Dallas Cowboys. So what were the numbers for Thanksgiving Day? I mean, it
30
was
million.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it was as big a game, at least as many viewers or the most viewers we've had since the Super Bowl. It's the highest rated show since then. So they're not going to get rid of the Dallas Cowboys. And the Broncos, while they're a bit of a draw, they're not good. The Cowboys would get moved. The Broncos would be forced to do that. But when you hear from Jerry, and you hope owners have some empathy. Like, man, I feel bad for the Broncos. That just wasn't right. I don't think the owners give a damn, and that's why they moved on. And Jerry doesn't seem to have any issue with the Broncos having to play.
No, in fact, I mean, Jerry is, comparing to what the Broncos had to do against the Saints is what the Cowboys had to do when they were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You take risks when you put all the quarterbacks in the same room. If you were worried about those things, you can spread them out a little bit. You can not even you can save one. I don't know that Denver had any more of a challenge than we've had with DiNucci or with the young quarterbacks that we've had.
Yeah, that Gilbert guy. We had to play DiNucci, who, by the way, we drafted him as a quarterback. They were playing a guy who was undrafted and a wide receiver. But, it's the same thing. I mean, we went into that game without a quarterback, and we knew it. It sucks, but you know what? We took our lickings and on to the next.
So he compared starting the Nooch from James Madison to going into the game with a quarterback that literally had not taken a snap since he was a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
I guess the outcome was the same. Same thing happened to us.
We failed to score a touchdown?
I think we know where Nooch stands. He must have graded out so god-awful that it was literally a joke on Monday when they watched the film for Jerry to say something like that.
I mean, yeah. They tried to sign a practice squad or a coach to the roster, and now the offensive coordinator's kid is going to get a chance, although apparently all the Denver quarterbacks are coming back clean at this point, testing negative. But you look at it and you think about that statement from Jerry Jones. Yeah, we didn't have a quarterback either. I don't feel bad at all for Denver. And I forget who said it or tweeted it. If their former owner, Hall of Famer Pat Bowlen, was alive, that wouldn't have happened.
I completely agree. I understand that the NFL had to make a point. But the point needed to be made for probably the Raiders. The Raiders were the ones, if you'd have taken care of the Raiders issue before, I don't know what you'd have done to Denver. Make them play without an offensive line? The very idea that they decided to play and then put it on TV for us to edify, to enjoy, knowing full well that there's no way anybody's going to gamble on this game. I mean, it had to be pulled off the board, right? You don't even have a quarterback. I mean, I wouldn't take any bets on this because you didn't have really a single starting quarterback in the entire game. They fed us trash to make a point. And if it was that important, the Ravens would have had this game moved or postponed, or they would have already had to have played. We'd be getting ready tonight. But that's not the case because they're not the contender. I just think this was one of those moves that was necessary to kind of prove a point, but it could only happen to the Broncos or less. Anything above that.
And again, if the Saints were in that situation, being the playoff team, would they have done the same thing? And that's the question. It's 2020, so there are no consistencies. There is no history to go on. But I do think the NFL did the Denver Broncos wrong in so many ways. I mean, the fact that we're going to have Wednesday football, we were scheduled to have Tuesday football. Who cares if you delay it a day or two? At the very least, the reason for the Ravens change from Tuesday to Wednesday was to give the Ravens a day to practice. Because we can't let them go play a game without even at least practicing. Why not offer the same thing to the Denver Broncos? It's not like they could have gone and found a quarterback. It's because the COVID protocols, it's not like an available quarterback, even if you were to sign him, would have been available. That's why we had to go with Ben DiNucci, because Garrett Gilbert was still waiting to clear the protocols. But at least you would have had a chance to come up with some legitimate plays that he might be able to run. You get on the phone with the academies and go, okay, how do you guys play without a quarterback? All right, little run and veer and little option and every trick play. Hey, put a massive tweet out. All you high school coaches, send me clips of your best trick plays that you've ever run. I imagine they would have been flooded, and at least we could have had an entertaining game that would have resulted. It would have resulted exactly the same.
Don't take away the very reason I watch. This is professional football. I'm looking for precision first, and I'll make fun of your faults and your foibles. This isn't college football where you never know. And it's not high school football where you really never know. This is professional football. This is the NFL. There's a level of expectation, a skill set. And for you to offer me a product where you've literally taken an entire position group from another team and tell me this is real and tell me that this matters, you can't do that. I know this is a crazy time, but you have to at least offer me something that I know isn't a preseason game, isn't foregone conclusion with a bunch of backups. The ramifications of this, I can't believe they did it. And the more I talk about it, the angrier I get.
I can tell, but I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I'd have rather seen a bunch of trick plays than what we did see, because that guy had no idea how to go in there and run their offense. Give him a day to figure out how to run crazy trick plays and at least entertain me in the disaster dumpster fire that it would have been.
Shoot, the Cowboys practiced for an entire week for a fourth and go for it. You think that a day would have helped the Broncos with a player that hadn't even tried it? No, it wasn't going to work. It was farcical for them to offer us that.
Actually, you know what? I think you just hit the nail on the head without knowing it. The reason that the NFL forced the Broncos to play on Sunday is because they knew as bad as it was, if they moved it to a Monday or a Tuesday and that was the only game on, that would have been worse because we would have had to watch it. Instead, we got to see some highlights. Maybe you saw some on the Red Zone channel, and unless you're a Saints fan or a Broncos fan, you weren't tuning in to watch that game. So the NFL actually did us a favor by forcing them to play that game on Sunday because we didn't have to watch it. We just saw the highlights and then get to bitch about it.
Dude, it should have never been played. Never. You don't force a team to go in without an entire position group ever. You fine them, you do whatever, but you don't force that on us.
Canceling a game isn't in the NFL playbook. That's not going to happen. I mean, look at all the college games that have been postponed. Not a single NFL game has been missed. So that game was going to get played hell or high water. By keeping it on Sunday, that actually saved us from having to watch it. Because imagine, if NFL football is on Wednesday, we're watching NFL football on Wednesday. No. If we actually had to watch that,
no one would watch it. They buried it there, and they told us it was good football because there was other good football going on until you moved in on it and realized this is just pointless. It was a pointless football game. It was 60 minutes of time that none of us will ever get back for anybody that tried to watch that trash. There you have it. Looking around the rest of the NFL. We did get to hear more from – we'll hear a little bit more from Jerry, but it is an injury update, and we're going to look at the injuries that are going to play a huge role coming up this week, and as Dr. David Espinosa joins us in just a couple of minutes. Greg Popovich had his State of the Spurs presser. We're breaking that up as we speak.
Lots of good stuff from Pop.
We'll hear from Greg Popovich as the San Antonio Spurs training camp has begun today. Practice will begin in earnest tomorrow as players report. There is news coming out of Golden State. Not so good. A tough way to start the camp, and this is after Klay Thompson's injury. They slowed things down there. We'll talk some NBA coming up. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. We're your home for the holidays.
You know, injuries do happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG Orthopedics has got you covered. Not all injuries, though, require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa, who will join us in a bit, he treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries and does concussion baseline testing. So for your high school athletes and below, you definitely need to go see Dr. Espinosa. Telemedicine services are available through Ortho Connect. So if you're hurting, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
The ESPN San Antonio High School Football Game of the Week, energized by Hill Electric. Brought to you by Mom Needs a Break Cleaning, the San Antonio Express News, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, and the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Every Friday night starting at 7.
I'm with Jason Thompson, owner of the Thompson Law Firm. Jason, if someone's in a serious collision, what should they do?
Call me as soon as possible after the collision. If a bad driver, a drunk driver, a driver of a commercial or company vehicle crashes into you or a family member, the most important decision you will make for yourself and your family is choosing the right lawyer. You should know that the insurance companies already have their own attorneys, and you should too. If you or a family member has been seriously injured in a traffic collision, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My phone number is 900-0400. Or just remember my website, alawyerforus.com. I practice law right here in San Antonio for more than 20 years, helping people and families just like yours. I believe you and your family need an attorney who is honest, loyal, experienced, professional, someone you would be proud to call your lawyer.
Your lawyer, Jason Thompson, named one of San Antonio's best personal injury attorneys and a Texas super lawyer. Call Jason Thompson, a lawyer for us. 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to alawyerforus.com.
Jewelers all over town promise that they absolutely guarantee the lowest price and try very hard to get you to buy today. But when you say not now, they suddenly offer you a 25% discount. And when you start to leave, they offer another 25% discount. How can you believe jewelers who say they guarantee the lowest price and then systematically try to take an extra 50% from anyone they can talk into paying full price and hold their biggest sale of the year every couple of months? At America's Diamond, we design and manufacture our extraordinary diamond jewelry right here in San Antonio. Everyone gets our very lowest price every day of the year. We've never had a sale. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are never on commission. We guarantee that quality for quality, our everyday America's Diamond manufacturer's price is lower than any jeweler's very best sale price, or we'll refund the difference plus 25%. See our television program tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now at americasdiamond.com.
This football season might look a little different, but Dos Equis wants to remind you that nothing will change college football's oldest tradition, the tradition of drinking beer. So no matter where you're tailgating, make sure to pick up some Dos Equis because it's been a long offseason. Dos Equis, the official beer sponsor of the College Football Playoff and proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. Wherever you're tailgating this season, grab an ice cold, refreshing Dos Equis.
Dos Equis, the official beer sponsor of the College Football Playoff and proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York. Copyright 2020.
The radio you're listening to is about to get a whole lot better. Because SiriusXM is free now through December 1st, no credit card required. Just press the SAT button in your car and hear ad-free music like never before. Dedicated, expertly curated channels for everything from country and pop to rock and hip-hop. Plus sports talk and news, and even more available for free online and on the app. Just press the SAT button in your car and listen free to SiriusXM through December 1st.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. A quick programming note. We're out at 6 o'clock. We're going into some great college basketball this evening. We got a couple of good blue bloods going at it. Michigan State and Duke first, and Kansas, Kentucky, the next head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, Bill Self, the head coach there at the University of Kansas, later on this evening. But before we do, the state of the Spurs is front and center. Training camp begins in earnest tomorrow as players will start practicing and working out individually as they were doing during the bubble time and prior to. Quick word, though. Golden State had a couple of players test positive as they were beginning their training camp. They are slowing things down and will start at an appropriate date. But the Spurs get busy, and Pop offered his State of the Union presser today.
He did, and while Golden State's dealing with some positives, the Spurs have zero positive tests to get things started. But I'll tell you what we saw in the bubble is what we're going to see moving forward. Greg Popovich talking about it's time for a change with what we have been used to for 2 decades plus with Greg Popovich. So how do you get those vets to buy into a new system?
No, the bottom line, in all frankness, is I don't remember winning a championship last year. I don't remember being in the playoffs. So it's time to make a change, play a different way, demand it, and move forward.
Demand it and move forward.
You wonder what the buy-in is.
They want to win, and Pop talked about that a lot today. They still want to be a winning football team, and the one player, the one vet guy that's going to have to change most is LaMarcus Aldridge, and Pop says he already has the buy-in from L.A.
L.A. will have no problem adjusting to how we play because he wants to win. We want to get back in the playoffs. And he is committed to taking another huge step as far as becoming more of a three-point shooter, which is necessary in this league for success, we all know. He took a big step
Can
last
we
year.
stop the tape
taking
and
even
rewind
a bigger
it?
step this
Stop
year.
the tape and rewind it. Let's hear it one more time. Did we just hear Greg Popovich say the three-point shot was necessary in this modern NBA?
You did hear that.
And he is committed to taking another huge step as far as becoming more of a three-point shooter, which is necessary in this league for success, we all know.
You hear that?
He took a big step last year, and he's taking even a bigger step this year. His workouts, all summer long and into the fall have centered around that, and he's bought into that and knows how much that can help us. So I'm excited, for the whole group to come together.
And so you hear that. You think about the threes. Now, keep in mind, Tim Duncan was overseeing his workouts, and he is the three-point specialist. So I kid. But, you look at that, and I think that's huge. Those two sound bites from Greg Popovich are probably the money sound bites from the press availability on what we can expect this season from the San Antonio Spurs.
It's funny that the question is aimed at LaMarcus because we did not see him in the bubble in what will be the new style, whatever that turns out to be from Greg Popovich. But the fact is, the way he plays is going to have to reflect this new style if he expects to be traded for. Because any place that he's going to land is going to be playing some sort of system like the Spurs are adopting too. They're catching up to a league that began this a couple years ago. So if LaMarcus feels like he is going to be a valuable piece to be moved and teams are going to want him and give up the $25 million or $28 million of player or future that it would take to get a LaMarcus in, he's going to have to perform in that system. So it behooves him to do exactly what Pop wants him to do, whether he stays here or not, because the rest of the NBA is doing this as well. And he does have a three-point shot. It's not – he worked on it last year, began the year before, and we have seen steady improvements, so it will help. It's his high pick-and-roll work that we're really going to get – that's going to get him on the court. His defensive prowess, playing those bigs that are going to be rolling to the rim. Can he guard those guys? Does he still have that kind of mobility to take a pick at the top of the key and roll with a big down to the – can he do that? That's going to be the real key that's going to keep him on the floor. But offensively, I don't think he's going to be a detriment. I'm still concerned about DeMar. And DeMar's my concern in this new offense because you're going to have to shoot some threes, dude. He's told us it's a thing that we have to do. DeMar knew it last year, and we saw a little bit every now and then, but not really. He's the one that's going to have to fundamentally change the way he plays.
Well, and there's some vets, that were in Orlando and in DeMar, and then guys like LaMarcus that weren't in Orlando. But what we saw in Orlando, we liked, as most fans, we liked what we were seeing with those young Spurs. We didn't know if that was just a bubble thing because it was 8 games, and that's what they had to do, and so let's play with what we got. But what you saw down in Orlando, Pop liked enough that he knows that even the ones that weren't in the bubble are going to have to fit into the new Spurs style.
The strategy, the philosophy, the way we play is going to stay the same, and everybody's going to have to adjust to that because the guys did a great job. They enjoyed it. We changed our approach as far as practice was concerned, how we wanted to teach. The young players really took time to understand what we were doing. People like DeMar and Rudy were great in mentoring these guys and actually ended up changing some of the ways they have played over the years.
Rudy.
Pace-wise, making defense more of a priority. They bought in. They really enjoyed the young guys and melded together with them. So those two guys I was really proud of because they became leaders in that sense. So the growth that took place there in some ways was unexpected, but it happened. So we're just going to go forward from what we did there.
Kind of interesting. Unexpected, but it happened. And now we're seeing this total change. And, you think about the world traveler that Greg Popovich is, not being able to leave the house. And, can you imagine this time off? And even though he said that he didn't do any basketball stuff during the initial pandemic, that wasn't, that couldn't have been honest, right? For him to completely change everything and talk about a new way in which they're going to teach and coach. I can only imagine what the last several months have been like for Greg Popovich and his coaching staff, not only reinventing the way the Spurs are going to play on the court, but it sounds like reinventing the way they do things. I mean, his long-term manual is now a new manual that they've worked on.
Let's talk about that. The very idea of the Spurs way seems to have shifted over just the last 8 months. Greg Popovich offered his state of the Spurs today as the training camp began. The second tomorrow, we got players in the gym. We can't wait. Hold on tight. More Spurs talk coming your direction. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. We're your home for the holidays.
Jason Minix here for New Brakes. NUBrakes.com is the website. At New Brakes, they're a mobile brake shop. They've made getting your brakes repaired easy, convenient, and affordable because they will come to you to fix your brakes. Whether you're at home, whether you're at the office, their certified brake techs will come to you and fix your brakes while you continue to do whatever it is you're doing. If you're watching something on TV, working, online shopping, taking a nap, doesn't matter. They're going to fix your brakes. They do offer Saturday and Sunday appointments. You can get your brakes fixed while you're watching the game. They only fix brakes, and most repairs are done in less than an hour. New Brakes uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Just go read all the 5-star reviews. If your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, go to NUBrakes.com and schedule your appointment. Maybe your car is fine, but you got a teenage driver, a kid in college, and you know that their brakes probably aren't very good because they're driving a car that's 8-10 years old. Get those brakes fixed. Give yourself the peace of mind that while you're driving, brakes won't fail you. If you're heading out on a road trip for the holidays, cold, wet weather can be hard on your brakes. Get them fixed. Go to NewBrakes.com. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio at NewBrakes.com. NUBrakes.com.
Breakfast with the Blitz every Friday morning at 7:30. Join the Blitz as they talk to Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Breakfast with the Blitz every Friday morning at 7:30. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
You know, over the Black Friday weekend, if you got yourself a flat panel TV as part of some Black Friday specials, now you got to hang it on the wall. You need to go to BSG. Let them do it. $99 on-the-wall TV install is what they're doing at BSG. And you know that's the best company in San Antonio for home security and smart home technology. When we moved in, and I got all kinds of fun stuff from BSG with the smart home technology and the security system, they actually hung my TVs. They look like they're floating on the wall. All the wires are hidden inside the wall the way they were able to do it, mounted perfectly, and they're doing it for $99. Most companies in those big box stores normally charge double. You're going to save 50% when you let BSG install your new flat screen TV. Yep, saving 50%. Some exclusions do apply. Go to bsgtexas.com for more details and to schedule your appointment for installation today. BSG is a great local company. They've been in San Antonio doing business here for over 20 years. The phone number 210-877-1222, 877-1222, or online at bsgtexas.com.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save for driving safely. Save for driving less with pay-per-mile insurance. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. Savings based on early signing, discount drive-bys, and mile-wise. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When the weather outside is frightful, the Hyundai Santa Fe is, delightful. Because it's got available H-Track all-wheel drive to make being out together better. Enter for your chance to win the newly redesigned Santa Fe, packed with all the jingle bells and whistles you need to go dashing through the snow together. To enter, visit Amazon.com/Hyundai or scan the QR code on specially marked red and green Amazon boxes. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Where is your haircut gone? We know you don't get out as much. You don't drive by your regular sport clips and pop in for that MVP haircut experience that is so much more than a haircut. But isn't it worth getting out for? For that legendary hot steam towel for your face, massaging shampoo that makes you melt into your seat. Oh man, you remember that, right? We found your haircut. It's right where you left it. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
Welcome to AutoZone, where we've got more ways to get what you need fast and take care of that fall tune-up. With our free same-day store pickup, you can order online and pick it up today at your local AutoZone. Or we can bring it to you with our free next-day delivery. Just order on AutoZone.com by 10 p.m. and we'll have it at your front door the next day. Getting your job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. Welcome aboard. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. 6 o'clock, we got college basketball for you, the Champions Classic. We got very first to start the night, Michigan State and Duke, very quickly followed by Kansas, Kentucky right here on ESPN San Antonio. As college football basketball begins, so does the NBA, December the 1st. That's what they agreed on. It's time to get going. As the Spurs begin, we heard from Greg Popovich today as he offered plans for the future, though a little bit of rough news as far as injuries go. We won't be starting with a full complement, will we, Jace?
Keldon and Derek and Q, they've got their bumps and bruises. They won't be with us to start. Derek's toe,
bumped and bruised
Keldon's
already?
Foot, Q's knee, and I'm not sure, exactly when they're coming back, but they won't be there in the beginning.
And when he says the beginning, that means the beginning of the season on December 22nd. So technically, they're going to miss all of training camp, and I guess probably still, the bumps and bruises from the bubble. I guess it's kind of odd there, but at least, I'm disappointed in Keldon because I did want to see his growth from what we saw in the bubble. But also, you think about a guy like Jakob Poeltl, who, played well down in Orlando, has been a good Spur, and then there was some fear that the Spurs were going to lose this guy. But even Pop said today, he is going to have to expand his role with this basketball team.
Well, I think he has to. He's a respectful, disciplined player who understands his role really well as far as, rebounding, running the floor, setting picks, trying to guard the rim, all those things. But he needs to expand his game in the sense of, he was the Pac-10 player of the year. He actually scored points. And maybe he's gotten the impression that I don't want him to. So that's my fault. He's got to get the ball to score once in a while. But he's got to change his mentality to a degree. He's not going to be our leading scorer, but to be a threat. And, that's something that we will, spend time with him on, because he actually can do some good things down in the block. He's not going to be a three-point shooter or anything like that. But his fundamentals are sound. He can be aggressive. And I think that in that sense, he can help us so that he has to be guarded.
I want him shooting threes. I kid.
The interesting thing about this, Jason, is I get the feeling that Pop is acquiescing to some of the demands that I believe Jakob made to the Spurs about coming back. I think that while Pop is saying you're going to have to expand your role, I don't think Poeltl would have signed on the contract unless he had great assurance that his role would indeed be expanded. So this is kind of a mutually agreed to decision that you're going to have to do more. Yes, Coach, I want to do more, but you're going to have to get there and do it. And I think Pop brought up a really an important part of this. He was the Pac-10 player of the year when he was over there at Utah and looked like he was headed toward an offensive type of NBA career, and that hasn't worked out by circumstance, I believe, as you land in Toronto, and they have a system in place to do what had been done before with Serge Ibaka, and that's really not an offensive thing. It's more of a defensive, high pick and roll kind of thing. I do think he's got the skill set to improve offensively, but we're talking about expanding by 3 or 4 shots a game. This is not going to be a huge alteration to the Spurs offense when Poeltl comes in to ensure he gets the ball on the block, because that's what we do. But I do think that's the next step in his growth. He has to earn the money. He wants a bigger role. He's going to have to take that role. But to do the role, he's going to have to prove that he is indeed a threat offensively from about 12 feet in.
Well, and it's funny because I agree with you 100%. I think that everything that we heard from Jakob in the offseason is, he wants to be a more complete basketball player, play both ends. When he showed up in San Antonio, by way of trade, he didn't ask to come here originally, and now you're playing Greg Popovich. Focus on defense, focus on defense, focus on defense. We've got other scorers. He's such a coachable guy. Okay, coach, it's defense only. Well, I got the ball. I'm not shooting this thing. I'm not allowed to. I don't want to get in the Pop's doghouse. And the way that Pop phrased that and carefully thought of the words of he is such a respectful guy that maybe in practice or in some games, my role is to go play defense. On the offensive end, if the ball somehow ends up in my hands, I'm going to find the open guy and let them take the shot, even if I am passing up an open shot. And I think Pop is finally getting it through to him that, yes, you can take that without getting in trouble. And probably Jakob saying, I'm comfortable enough in my skin now in this organization to be able to talk to Pop about being able to do that. I just thought it was a very interesting phrase that Greg Popovich used, and he is such a respectful player that we've told him to do this, and he's not questioned it. He's just gone and done it, but we know he wants to do more and be a threat on the offensive end.
I'm pretty sure Jakob Poeltl has never had a play called for him. That's no slam. There's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah.
You play a lot of games, but, the end result is not you coming off a pick and taking a shot. You're the guy setting the pick, and that's your job. And he's done his job very well. He's earned the money he's going to get, but I completely agree with what Pop said about Jakob Poeltl. He's going to play a pretty key role. And I think that reflects back on some of the things he said during his presser today, Jason, that he's fundamentally changing the way that he develops players, the way that he coaches, the way that they practice, because what used to be a 3-year plan or at least a 2-year plan to get you on the court about the time your contract's expiring so they can make a wise decision about that has to be cut in half. These guys have to be ready in half the time. So to do that, Pop's going to have to let these guys do some things that he has not been comfortable letting them do in the past, and that's to make mistakes in game.
That is true, but I'll tell you what. He was asked today about the Olympics starting 2 days after a scheduled Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and his response, it won't take us 7 games in the Finals. He's not worried about it. He was joking, of course.
Eternal. When he sold his house, he had to clear out that wine cellar. Maybe he had a few bottles sitting in the office today before the Zoom because, only 4 games. That's where they're headed. Hey, coming back, let's talk some injuries. Dr. David Espinosa is going to join us from the Sports Institute over at TSA OG Orthopedics. We'll get you ready. Who ain't going to be playing and who's going to be limping coming up here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. Did you wake up this morning feeling good about your health? Did you look in the mirror and go, man, I look better than I have in a long time? I did, but I say that every day. But the fact of the matter is, I started going to Dr. Torres over at the Institute for Functional Health well over a year ago and changed my life. And as I talk about Dr. Torres, it is a deeply personal thing for me because I was never a guy to go on a diet. That wasn't me. That wasn't the manly thing. I was just going to watch what I ate and maybe get a little bit of exercise in and fool myself every time I looked in the mirror. Well, I met with Dr. Torres, and he told me, you're not going to get any better. In fact, you're going to get worse if you continue doing what you've done. If the doctors are telling you that you're healthy, though, you don't feel it, or maybe you're getting awfully close. Diabetes, hypertension, sore joints, arthritis, all those things that can be, worsened by being overweight. It's time to start considering one of the things that you can fix, and that's what you eat, how you eat, and when you eat. See, Dr. Torres at the IFH put together a program specifically for me, put together by medical professionals such like himself, and has monitored me through all of this. I learned how to eat again. I know that sounds crazy, but what I learned has literally changed my life. If you're tired of being overweight, if somebody you love is overweight and facing health issues, now's the time to take advantage. Call Dr. Torres today for your free, and I say it again, absolutely free consultation. The number is 210-468-1891. He'll meet you however you'd like, a Zoom, in person, over the phone, whatever it is. But I do want you to meet Dr. Torres. He will tell you that you can change your life with how you eat. If you need to lose weight for health or just personal reasons, but you don't want to go on a diet, you literally want to change your life, I want you to call Dr. Torres because he actually will. He'll add years on and make you feel good about doing it. And the folks down at the IFH, boy, they're great. They're your mentor, they're your coaches, and sometimes, they're your chastiser if you're not living up to what you promised you would do. Call the Institute for Functional Health today. Get your appointment going and start a program that will literally add years to your life and change it for the better. It's the best thing I've ever done is call the IFH. Make that call today, and I am sure you'll thank me later.
You can catch the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys after every Cowboys game right here on ESPN San Antonio. Every Friday, Mike McCarthy on the Blitz is brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Your home for everything Cowboys is ESPN San Antonio.
You know, it's cold outside. It froze last night. It ain't much warmer today. It's not a good time for your heater to not be working, but if you are finding out that your heater is not working, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quarter Plumbing, Heating, and AC at 210-651-5899, 651-5899. If you haven't had your heater maintenance yet, if it is working right, just call them. Their maintenance programs are fantastic that ensures your unit is ready for every season. And if you're having any plumbing issues, Quarter Moon is certainly the company to call. Been to my house many times over the years. Full service, big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked and they have all the equipment needed for any job. From a faucet leak to a leak in your slab. No commission. Sales reps, they'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899. 651-5899 or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who refuse to let happy hour end without squeezing in one more round. The type of guys who would rather sweat from unspeakable places than stop eating the spiciest wings on the menu. And the men who still chuckle when they order their wings bone in. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Looking for a late night bite? Service industry employees receive 50% off handhelds and appetizers every day, 10 to close. Some exclusions apply.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, announces you will save on really dark window tint. It's perfectly legal to have really, really dark window tint. Mother's has it all. Light, medium, dark, metallized, color stable, scratch resistant, ceramic, and carbon fiber based films. Every tint is a custom fit tint at Mother's Window Tint. Save $100. Save on car alarms that will protect yourself and your family. 24/7 live vehicle monitoring. Remote start your car. Mother's alarm systems provide the features not found on factory alarms. Plus, Mother sells car stereos that will make your car go thump, thump, thump. Mother Thump. Save $100. Since 1984. Service centers in Austin and San Antonio. Check us out on Facebook or our website, motherswindowtint.com. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know, in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. If your water smells or has an odd taste, call Alamo Water Softeners at 210-274-6122. Alamo Water Softeners is a locally owned, family-run business that offers the highest quality water softeners at affordable prices. Free in-home or phone estimates available. Get clean, soft water by calling Alamo Water Softeners, 210-274-6122, or go to their website, alamowatersofteners.com.
Everyone could use a little comfort this holiday season, and with Casper's Black Friday sale, you can give the gift of a cozy bedroom with up to 30% off during our best offer ever. Need a gift idea? Wrap up the calming weighted blanket, smooth silk pillowcases, or a plush foam pillow. Then treat yourself to the ultimate comfort, a supportive and cooling wave hybrid mattress. You deserve it. Shop the Black Friday sale for up to 30% off in-store or online at Casper.com. Terms and conditions apply. See Casper.com/terms for more details.
Dell Technologies just announced their Cyber Monday sale. They're releasing new doorbusters every weekday, plus up to 50% off cutting-edge tech for your business. There's no better time to upgrade your small business with the latest laptops and desktops with Intel Core processors, plus there's free shipping on everything. Yes, everything. Give Dell Technology Advisors a call. They'll identify the right tech solutions for your business. Go to Dell.com/SB Cyber Monday or call 877-ASK-DELL.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio 94.5 FM. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. We're going to head into the sunset here in about 15 minutes. Got some college basketball headed your way. The Champions Classic, Michigan State and Duke going off. But, hey, it's Tuesday. We got to dive into what affects us more importantly. Those injuries around the NFL and NBA worth talking about. We'd like to do that right now. It's time for the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update, powered to you by the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. Welcome aboard, Dr. David Espinosa. Doc, how's your day?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing well, Doc. Appreciate the time. Certainly we're doing better than some of the Dallas Cowboys. You start Thanksgiving Day off on your first drive and you lose both tackles. Cam Irving with a MCL sprain. Zach Martin, they're calling it a calf injury. On Zach Martin, they say 3 to 4 weeks with an injury, which is essentially the rest of the regular season unless they rush him back. When you hear calf in 3 to 4 weeks, how significant of an injury are we looking at?
So 3 to 4 weeks is, fairly significant because when you strain the muscle, that calf muscle, muscle has great blood supply, right? And when that gets injured, sometimes it can bleed. So when you're looking at a more of a prolonged recovery, then that kind of raises a flag that there may also be an associated little hematoma sitting in there. And sometimes they're pretty painful to walk on, so much less, block, for Andy Dalton's backside there. Right. So it's
Doc,
pretty painful. And
real quick, it looked like he had been shot, like sniped. Yeah. That was a terribly painful injury we saw him dealing with. And you talked about the hematoma. How does that even, did he just rip the muscle and the blood flow in there started to kind of swell up and cause that kind of pain? Because I've never seen a guy from a calf injury go down that way. This was significant, it appeared to be.
Yeah, potentially, and so they actually call this tennis leg. I mean, he's definitely not playing tennis, but it's from an eccentric load, meaning that his muscle was stretched out, and he tried to plant on it, and then that's what kind of gives it that appearance of getting shot, right? Just kind of they pull up and they go down. It's pretty painful. Usually they'll require like a walking boot for a couple of weeks until they're able to walk, without pain. And then after that, it's making sure that the swelling's come down and then the subsequent rehab and all that. And so, with the season kind of dwindling down, I guess theoretically they still have a chance of making the playoffs. But
in theory, Doc, but as you say that, if he were to play again this season, say he misses 2 or 3 games, and he plays in the final 2 because he's a stud and that's just what he does, would he be risking any long-term injury, or is the smart play shut it down and worry about next year?
That's a smart play. It is possible that he comes back for maybe the final game or so, but at that point it's kind of okay. Well, what are we risking, right? Because definitely that muscle, that's the tendon that it's attached to, can even rupture, right? And so then that would definitely be a much more significant, longer lasting type of injury, and so definitely not something you want to push before it's ready.
He is Dr. David Espinosa. This is the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update, powered to you by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Let's look down to Houston real quick, and this isn't so much about injuries, it's about PEDs. 2 Houston Texans popped for PED abuse, or at least positive, both going to the same doctor. Now, normally when you hear PEDs, you think steroids or something like that. What do you think when you hear something like this?
So the PED is definitely a broad umbrella term. Multiple types, and some of them are they have certain molecules that may be banned but not fully, and so that's usually where these guys get into trouble, where they're not fully aware of everything involved or everything that's going into it and what's being tested and everything. And so they may think that it's just something that's helping them out, right? Especially in the case of Fuller and such, where he's had a long-standing history of injury and hoping to get stronger to prevent injury. And so, they're trying to toe the line, but unfortunately, they are taking something that they think is okay, and then turns out, not so much.
Now, if he could find something to protect his hamstrings, that should be put on the allowed list, I would think, by the NFL. But when you look at Will Fuller's statement, where he takes full responsibility for it, and so did Bradley Roby, but they didn't say they went to a doctor. They said they went to a medical professional. as a real doctor, when you hear an athlete say, I went to a medical professional, we're not talking about the pharmacist over at Walgreens, right? I mean, but do you kind of look at that and go, he wasn't seeing a real doctor to get this stuff, was he?
Well, I guess doctor also has a broad umbrella term there, but
his chiropractor was getting it to him. Right? Not that I'm making fun of the chiropractor, right? But I mean, I just thought it was an odd choice of words by Will Fuller to say he got it from a medical professional.
Right, and that's actually a choice, word setting there, where that also definitely has a broad range of professions, right? And so medical providers.
You're being very kind, Doc. You're being very kind, and we'll get you off the hook. But before we move on, as a true physician that deals with athletes, do you have access if a professional player, football player, came to you and said, I need, and there was a diagnosis that involved a prescribed substance that do you have access to know whether what I'm prescribing you is appropriate, or, who's at fault here? Is it the player for taking the advice of a well-meaning physician, or should the physician, do a little bit of research and see if what I'm prescribing, while it might be, appropriate for the injury, it's not appropriate for the league?
Right. I'd say a little bit of blame kind of all around. Definitely, the medical professional, we'll call them, right, definitely needs to know what's all involved and what's entailed inside a certain cocktail of medications or what's being prescribed. But then also leagues tend to have a list. They have a list of, publicly available medications and substances that are allowed and not allowed, and what's on the banned list, right? The International Olympic Committee definitely has that out there as well. So it's definitely out there, and also, but the player themselves, they kind of need to also take that responsibility for their own health and say, okay, well, I'm under contract, I'm the professional, I need to be eligible for my team, and so I need to know what's going into my body, right? So it's definitely kind of a little bit of everybody at fault here.
He's the one getting paid. He's the one losing paychecks. If you're dealing with instances like this, you need to go to an absolute, not just a medical professional, truly physicians, and go to the very best. The ESPN San Antonio Injury Update is always powered to you by the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. This kind of thing happens to you, 804-5555, anything snap, crackles, or pops. Dr. Espinosa, it's a pleasure catching up with you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the knowledge.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great one.
Dr. Espinosa, we do the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update every Tuesday afternoon, and this one is worthy of just a bit more discussion, Jason. We've just got about a minute left. It feels dirty down there in Houston. The fact that it was a medical professional, and both guys went to it for probably different issues. I think there's a lot more to this story.
Hey, look, we got two names now. Don't you feel like there's going to be more coming from the medical professional? And let's face it, while it is the player's responsibility, and Will Fuller took all the responsibility as I cut him from my fantasy team glowingly, we had to part ways. But I look at that and I expect to see more, but I do think that the doctors in this case, you're working with a pro athlete. As the doctor, you should be more responsible, because that guy, we're going to give you some of this, and this. Okay. It's not like, hey, here's a supplement that was in my protein shake that was on the ban list that I bought at GNC. This was prescribed, supposedly, by the medical professional.
Awful. I'll tell you what, the troubles get deeper. Hey, coming up, we got college basketball, the very best. The Champions Classic next. This has been The Blitz. We'll see you tomorrow.
The ESPN San Antonio High School Football Game of the Week, energized by Hill Electric. Brought to you by Mom.